For everyone that believes that Erik ten Hag is soon leaving Manchester United, you don't know what you're talking about. Erik ten Hag is continuing to obviously make his step, all his stance, obviously firm at the club of Manchester United by obviously advising the board of Manchester United to get in what we call a new director of football if at all you want to compete with at the levels of Arsenal, Man City, Real Madrid and Barcelona. Welcome to the United Matters channel. We are also going to talk about Andre Onana and a little bit of how an Arsenal agenda is going to hate obviously talk about Scott McTominay and Fred, and it has been something I least expected from him, because he's a person I believe that talks a lot of sense, but this time round I think I was going to hate to talk through his behind. That is it. But we are obviously going to go through that and see where it obviously puts us at. Now, smash the like button, comment and share, and don't forget to subscribe because we want to hit 16,000 subscribers before the end of this month. And today is really another day where I'm going to come in through and obviously drop you what they call match preview of United versus Brentford at Old Trafford. That is on Saturday, and we'll be waiting for the presser of Erik ten Hag tomorrow and see what he has to obviously tell us as we, the fans of Manchester United, towards that encounter that is going to see us go to the international break and obviously find ourselves in a position of really seeing some players resting for 2 weeks, and then the Premier League will return around the 20th and 21st of this month. Now, let's start it off with Miguel Delaney. Miguel Delaney is a chief football writer at The Independent. He has told us that Manchester United want to bring in Atletico Madrid sporting director Andrea Beta. They could face competition from Spurs and PSG. Now, I think we've gonna hate to realize that we need someone better, or something better than John Mata. And John Mata needs to leave the club of Manchester United. You know, we've been calling in for this as we the fans of Manchester United, and people in the media have not always gonna hate to obviously notice it. And this world is really funny. People think that what makes a manager thrive is getting him the players he wants. No, the entire atmosphere of the club either fails the manager or makes him win trophies and games for the club. So at this juncture at Manchester United, lots of things are not going our way. Do you know why? We are having wrong people in different departments. You cannot tell me that your technical director is Darren Fletcher, learning on the job. You get director of football is John Mata, learning on the job. CEO Richard Arnold, also learning on the job. A club with a reputation of Manchester United having people who have done it elsewhere, like they're gonna hate to obviously hint onto the new director of football, that is Andrea Beta. And he's a guy who has gonna hate to be at Atletico Madrid for 10 seasons. And when you look at the recruitment, he's gonna hate to make at Real Madrid, so Atletico Madrid, it's really insane. You know, the likes of the Thomas Partys, you know, cockies of this world, the Kun Agueros, you know, Rodri came in from Atletico Madrid, Sohol Niguez, very good player, you know, Antonio Griezmann, you know, and all these players came in when they're still young at this club. So it shows you how beautiful this story is for the night, and you'll obviously talk about what United has gonna hate to obviously see in this man. He's a very good guy, 10 years Atletico Madrid, good recruitment, and has gonna hate to obviously get in very many players at Atletico Madrid. And we all have gonna hate to admit that Atletico Madrid have good players, but the problem is the manager they have, who cannot obviously get them playing the way everyone really wants. That is it, and that's a problem of Atletico Madrid. But for good players, that ticket has always been given to Atletico Madrid, but the problem has always been the manager of Atletico Madrid, who plays a low block and obviously hits the team on on the counter-attack. Now, why do we need a director of football? One, contacts. He must be having a very huge contact base. Secondly, he knows how to negotiate deals. Thirdly, respect in the game. You know, you cannot compare John Murtough to this man who's going to have to be doing business for the last 10 years at Atletico Madrid at the elite level, meaning that he knows all the agents, he knows all the players, he has a vast range of scouts that can obviously get us players that we want, even on a chip. Because for Atletico Madrid, they are a team that has gone ahead to conduct business most times on a chip, and I think their most expensive signing was Yao Felix, right? And Yao Felix has gone ahead to obviously be a very good player, but I think he was signed at a wrong club. But he's a very good player. When you see how he's playing in at Barcelona, it shows you exactly what quality Yao Felix really possesses and what he brings onto the field of play. And remember, Atletico Madrid had the likes of Garnacho there. You know, you remember we bought Garnacho from the academy of Atletico Madrid. So it shows you that this man was in total control because Garnacho came in at United in 2019. So this is the man discovering all those players in the academy and obviously link Atletico Madrid to where they deserve to be. And I think he's doing a very, very fantastic job. And the way he obviously scouts his players is really great. But United has been doomed as one of the worst teams to obviously do negotiations at the game, in the game, you know. And what makes that better? Obviously getting in a different kind of vibe altogether by signing a competent person to get this job going and obviously take it to where it deserves to be. So to my own understanding, it's really great to see to it that we are having a thought, and I think it's being spearheaded by Eric Ten Hag, because most of the changes being made at the club of Manchester United because of Ten Hag telling them that if at all you want to match the level of Man City, we are supposed to be doing ABCD. And Man City has gone ahead to do such, and they've been triumphant for very many years. And they've been having a director of football for the last 13, 14 years. We haven't had one for the very long period of time that I cannot even name. Then Miguel Dillon adds on that officials at other clubs have been privately dismissive of Manchester United director of football John Murtough. Some have even questioned whether he would get such a lofty role elsewhere, and if the job is too big for him. It is felt he doesn't have the contact base of some of his equivalents. Obviously, you can't tell me that you're at Manchester United and you're doing this for the very first time. Remember, he was brought in at Manchester United with David Moyes in 2013, 2014, and has been here and has been learning on the job. But what has he learned? Nothing, you know, nothing. He knows nothing. And the worst thing he did was to sack Ralf Rangnick, because Ralf Rangnick was a man that would have gone ahead to help him obviously know about this better, but he ended up sacking him from the job, a decision that really cost Man United lots and lots of things. And I really believe that it's high time the board of Manchester United really got to know that Ten Hag is telling them the truth. We need John Murtough out of this position because he is incompetent. He can't do his job. At a well-paying club like Manchester United, you obviously need to be obviously showing off results. Like Ten Hag tells us that this is a result-based business, and we need to be winning every game. And if you're Man United, you need to be having a director of football that can negotiate a deal to get you every player that you want. You know, whether Jude Bellingham, whether Kylian Mbappe, whether who, because the monies that can obviously get in those players are there. So we have a manager in Ten Hag, good manager. All we need now is a director of football that can obviously conduct business in a better way. John Murtough should obviously sit his ass down and understand that he needs better and better and better and better leave Manchester United, because he's one of the reasons as to why we're not performing very well, because of the decisions he's going to have to make on certain players. How do you deny selling Harry Maguire for 30 million pounds? How do you fail to sell Scott McTominay out of Manchester United? That was shit decisions made by him. If you are a football director, all you have to do is to dance on the tunes of the manager, or sometimes sit him down and tell him that we can do better, we can do ABCD. That is it. So, John Murtough is the reason as to why we are obviously performing badly. And they recommend coaches to come in through and they sack them, meaning that the problem time has gone ahead to come, not to sack a fifth manager under their terrain at Manchester United, but for them to quit the club as soon as possible. And obviously see to it that we get in capable people to get the job done. Now, this is one of the biggest jokes I've gone ahead to see ever since the season started. Ian Wright, former Arsenal legend, has said they can't blame McTominay and Fred anymore. The midfield is different, but it's still the same. No much control, no much management. And you just ask yourself, where has he been all this long? He's one of the people that obviously had to praise Casemiro last season, that he really had a wonderful job. Now, things concerning control are not all about what the midfield is all about, especially at Manchester United. The midfielders are here, and we are really taking control of the games. I think we controlled the game of Crystal Palace over the weekend, though we lost. And losing doesn't mean that you're not gonna hate to control the game. When you look at the game of Galatasaray, we controlled it, but we just continue to really get in goals anyhowly. You cannot compare Amrabat, Casemiro, to the midfield of Scott McTominay and Fred. You cannot. And he's here to eat his words soon, because I know that this midfield is obviously going to get better. The problem is we are really having some problems that the central defense are going to have to see to it that Amrabat doesn't play that double pivot with Casemiro. But in time, things are going to happen, and I know staff will see us go to where we deserve to be as a club of Manchester United. That is it. So, in my own understanding, I believe Ian Wright is a very good pundit. I've gone ahead to like him. But my word with him is that how can he put out a statement like that? That the blame has always been on Scott McTominay and Fred, but they are off, and things are not going to have to change. Really, Ian Wright? Haven't things gone ahead to change in the midfield of Man United? Can you compare Casemiro to Scott McTominay? Can you compare Amrabat to this guy that you're talking about, Fred? You can't. But I know you're going to eat your words very, very soon, because we are going to become good. Now, lastly, a story coming in from Rob Dawson that Andrew Onana is reluctant to take time away from Manchester United to play for Cameroon at African Cup of Nations in January after a difficult start of the season at Old Trafford. His priority is to focus on his new club. Now, for Andrew Onana, I think he can say anything that he wants to say, and he can put out stories that everyone wants to know. But all I want to say is that it's just his first season. You cannot judge a goalkeeper on his first season. That is it. Even any player, because he can come out and shock you. Ronaldo's first season at Man United was abysmal, but he went ahead to obviously become one of the best players in the world. Patrice Evra's first season at Man United was really abysmal, but he went ahead to be one of the best players in the world. Vidic, name it. And the biggest example is David De Gea, has been here for a decade plus. His first season was obviously abysmal at Manchester United, but he went on to become one of the best players, one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and at time X was one of the best goalkeepers in the world at the club of Manchester United. So Andrew Onana, whether he goes to Cameroon or not, all what he needs to do is that he should stop doing mistakes like he did, especially in a game of Galatasaray, because we lose that game because of him. That is it. And we lose the game of Bayern Munich because of him. If you don't concede that first goal, stupid like how we really did, then we don't obviously find ourselves in a position of really losing out, so he needs to be doing better in such games. So guys, your thoughts on Ten Hag wanting a new director of football are welcome in the comment section below. And what do you make about the one that's going to hit a point on from Atletico Madrid? What do you make about Ian Wright talking about comparing Scott McTominay and Fred to Casemiro and the Amrabats? I think that's really very below the belt. I don't know what you think about it. And lastly, what's your take onto Andre Onana not going to the African Cup of Nations, wanting to keep his spot at Man United and fight for it? Because Bendeir can come in through and obviously show us a different kind of game altogether, and maybe would lose it, and is not willing to leave the club of Manchester United to go to his national team. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. Rokan David remains my name. I sign out for now. See you later. May the living to God bless you abundantly. Rokan David remains my name, and I sign out for now. See you when you see me. I'm out.